What comes to mind when you think of Milwaukee Central Seventh-day Adventist Church?
Do your eyes float to its stately facilities?
Do you remember the unique features of our tabernacle by the lake with its historical charms and quirks?
It's a beautiful building that from its very beginning was built out of love.
And is a gift of love to our congregation.
Many of our families are connected to this building.
Here we were blessed as children,
Baptized as new believers,
and over the years bonded together as a family.
In this space reserved for God's presence,
we sat through Sabbath school and sermons that made Jesus real to us.
so when we think of Milwaukee Central, naturally remember the building.
What comes to mind when you think of Milwaukee Central Seventh-day Adventist Church?
does your heart skip as you remember the many ministries of our church?
You can still see Central's choir in their purple-colored robes singing melodies to the Lord.
You can still feel the warmth of prayer quilts, conceived in love and birthed in prayer.
You can smell the fancy cakes of our women's ministry prayer breakfast.
We all still carry with us lessons from scriptures we gleaned from many studies sponsored by Central.
The faces of our leaders from yesteryear, we remember.
They were huge personalities who added character, warmth, and a personal touch to the brick and mortar.
This reminds you that Central is much more about cherishing lifelong relationships rather than looming structures.
What comes to mind when you think of Milwaukee Central Seventh-day Adventist Church?
Do your hands remember making hundreds of sandwiches and soup for the least among us?
You can still picture long-standing partnerships with the aim of making Milwaukee a better place for all.
One touched life at a time.
When you think and talk about Milwaukee Central, we can only pray that God remembers
the salt and light we've shared with others through practical prayer-inspired actions.
We can only hope that the image of Jesus, naked, hungry, and cold, is etched in our hearts so that others saw Jesus in you when you clothed, fed, and protected those who have nothing but blessings to give back in gratitude.
What comes to mind when you think of Milwaukee Central Seventh-day Adventist Church?
Does your mind recall lessons learned at the Milwaukee School?
And the administrators and teachers who molded us through youth towards maturity?
You do remember the melodious, but how could you forget the mischievous?
And how you felt loved in spite of and utterly regardless.
You can picture the teachers or aide who taught you so much about Jesus and the undying commitment they had for your growth.
Even today, many years later, you speak their names with reverential awe
while breathing a prayer of thankfulness for the blessing they were to you.
What comes to mind when we think of Milwaukee Central Seventh-day Adventist Church?
If this 75th anniversary teaches us anything,
maybe it is that Central is all this and more.
Part mortar,
part ministry,
part mentorship,
but totally and completely mission-minded.
We as a church are called to share the message of Jesus' soon return.
In other words, Milwaukee Central is the story of Jesus and you.
And you.
And you.
And you.
And you.
It is the story of how Jesus made a difference in your life
just by planting you within a community of passionate belief.